good evening. I'm Mr. Mike from Mike's Igcse Center. Today I'm going to teach you all a very difficult topic in year 10. Chemistry, that's the mole calculation. Right? So now, where do we start this topic? First, let's look at the definition. What is relative atomic mass? Now, to be honest, relative atomic mass is self-defining because the word relative means compared to atomic. What are we comparing? The atoms. And what are we comparing? The mass. So what's relative atomic mass? The mass of an atom compared to, now's the interesting part. What do we choose to compare it with? And the answer is 1/12 of a carbon-12 atom. So what's relative atomic mass? The mass of an atom compared to the mass of 1/12 a carbon atom. So likewise, what is a relative molecular mass? The mass of a, now use molecule, compared to the mass of 1/12 a carbon-12 atom. Now remember, there are two isotopes of carbon, carbon-12 and carbon-14, which is relatively stable. But what we choose is the most stable non-radioactive form, that is the carbon-12 isotope. So we don't want carbon-14, so it must clearly be mentioned the carbon-12 isotope. Now, so if the relative atomic mass is expressed in grams, now something quite magical happens. The relative atomic mass expressed in grams will give you exactly 1 mole of, if I use atomic mass, atoms. If I use relative molecular mass, 1 mole of molecules. If I use relative formula mass, it will be 1 mole of a set of ions. Okay, so now the term which is puzzling us is, so what is 1 mole? That itself is an important idea. What is 1 mole? 1 mole is actually a huge number, 6 times 10 to the power of 23. And if I use atoms, then it will be 1 mole of atoms. Now this is also called the Avogadro number. But for definition's sake, 1 mole is equal to the number of atoms in exactly 12 grams of carbon-12. Now that is the formal definition. So if you want your full marks in the IGCSE, it's best that you mention this, that 1 mole is the number of atoms in exactly 12 grams of carbon-12. This is also known as the Avogadro number. So when we take example, the relative atomic mass of calcium is 40. So calcium's magic number is 40. So if I take 40 grams of calcium, remember this only works for calcium. 40 grams of calcium, I will get exactly 1 mole of atoms. Another example, let's say the relative atomic mass, example 2. The relative atomic mass of zinc is 65. So what do I have? 65 grams of zinc will have exactly 1 mole of atoms. Are you clear?